I want to talk to y'all about Kill Ralph. I originally played the demo for this game during the October 2025 Next Fest, and sadly, the demo didn't really do enough to leave a big enough impression on me to put it into my Next Fest top 10, but I've played the full game now, alongside my friend Emmy in a bottle.
That's me! Hey besties!
And we haven't been able to stop thinking about it, which is why we're making this video. I'm gonna be talking about spoilers for the game, so if at any point you feel like you'd want to play the game yourself, go and do it at your earliest convenience as to not get spoiled. I highly recommend it, it's genuinely amazing. Kill Ralph is an incredible visual novel with full voice acting about a mission to kill a guy named Ralph, who is infamous for his various evil deeds, having earned him the highest recorded bounty of 22,000 shillings. The whole game takes place in the tavern called Raccoon's 8. Entering said tavern at the top of the game immediately has you encounter my personal favorite character, the barmaid, who greets you, invites you in, and hands you a free mug of wine, courtesy of a very generous patron who is celebrating a very special occasion and has bought out all the wine ahead of time for people to enjoy freely. We can choose one out of various toasts to give before drinking the wine, or we can refuse to drink it, though the barmaid won't like that. There's a celebration after all, so what's the harm in one mug? Something that's easy to not realize here is that the game never even really asks you for your name when you start or after you enter the tavern. In fact, there are only 2 scenes in the entire game that will prompt you to enter a name, and you can even give yourself 2 different names in one run if you want. But even with those 2 scenes, the name you give yourself is never really mentioned again after you finish talking to that character, so it doesn't really matter what it is.
Hamburger!
Okay, yes, during our playthrough of the game, Emmy insisted on naming our character Hamburger, so for the rest of this video, I will also continue to refer to the protagonist by the name Hamburger.
Yippee!
I hated it then, and I hate it now, but I can't get away from it. It haunts me.
Hamburger.
After drinking the wine and getting past the barmaid, we find ourselves in the main hall, one of the 5 main locations in this game. The other 4 being the bar, outside the bedrooms, the 2nd floor, and upstairs. There's also a bedroom, but that's not important for now, just know it exists and it is empty. Upon entering each one for the first time, our narrator gives us the lay of the land before we are able to start making our choices. Each location has either 1 or 2 interesting characters to talk to, and I'm gonna give y'all a quick introduction to all of them. In the main hall, we can either talk to the barmaid, or leave her alone since she seems to be pretty busy, or we can approach a warrior in red who is sitting near a fireplace with his trusty Zweihander not too far from him. Moving on to the bar, we can have a pleasant conversation with the timid barkeep, or we can approach a drunk dressed in blue who is barely holding on and leaning on a barrel of wine. Outside of the bedrooms, at the end of the hall, we can approach a lonely girl who seems to be having a rough night and offer to keep her company. Also, there's the cat here, but we sadly can't interact with it. Moving up to the 2nd floor, we have the choice to talk to either a beautiful but difficult to approach woman in a military uniform, or a mysterious knight in yellow who sits in a corner all by himself and speaks in riddles. And all the way upstairs is the man of the hour, Ralph the Vor, who is very open to starting a dialogue with the man trying to take his life. That's you, in case you forgot. Every single one of these characters, no matter how insignificant they seem at first glance, plays an important role in this story. All of them have unique personalities that, together with the stellar voice acting, make them come alive. The main hall is essentially a hub area. From here we can access almost every other area, with the exception of the upstairs and the bedrooms themselves, but we also get an option to rest, and I just want to talk about this part for a bit. You can literally just chill and experience the party. It's genuinely phenomenal. There's so many different scenes that could play out. They don't actually play out in front of you, they just get narrated to you, but it's still amazing. After 10 hours of playing and countless different runs, we still occasionally encountered new scenes. Even while recording the footage for this video, I encountered a new scene. You can tell because I can't skip it. The skip button is grayed out. This is such a tiny and seemingly insignificant addition to the game, but it makes it feel so much more alive. Some of the scenes you see here might also give you some hints as to what's going on here in the grand scheme of things if you're paying enough attention. But this feature is not only here for fun, it does have real impact and value. Some interactions in the game can get you drunk, while others might not go your way if you are drunk, so you gotta sober up, and the only way to do that is to sit and wait and pass the time. It's honestly incredible. By playing the game and talking to the various characters, you will very quickly learn that each of them has some kind of connection to your target and a titular character, Ralph. Finding a way to kill him in a place this crowded is not going to be an easy feat, and it might require some help, so you're gonna have to talk to everyone and learn about them as much as possible to gain new insight and maybe recruit some allies to your cause. You might even need to use the knowledge from one run to work towards a better result on the next. Kill Ralph is very interconnected and very involved, and I love it for that. Conversations with one character will literally unlock more options for conversations with another character. Most of the information about other characters will either come from Otto, the barkeep who is also the owner of Raccoon's 8, or from the big bad guy Ralph himself. This knowledge will in some cases allow you to approach certain characters differently, which might make recruiting them to your side easier. But there's another small connection between two different characters. When talking to Cellini, the lonely girl outside the bedrooms, you will notice her ripped and dirty clothes. From here, you can now approach Fleur for a new choice. Where previously you were only able to ask her out or leave her alone, you are now able to ask her for a spare dress for Cellini. Giving this dress to Cellini will result in her changing in the bedrooms, which you can enter while she's getting dressed by the way, but if you want to see what happens next, I highly recommend you play the game yourself. Give her some time by sitting in the main hall, and when you return to her, you will see her sitting on her chair wearing a new dress, leading to even more choices during conversation. Everything about Kill Ralph is so well done. The writing, the voice acting, the art, the music, it all comes together to create this unbelievable experience that takes you on a roller coaster ride through the entire spectrum of emotions. There is so much to do and so many different conversations to have in this game that I genuinely don't know what I should talk about and what I shouldn't. So I'm just gonna pass it over to Emmy, who played this game alongside me and is much better at this stuff.
Hi besties, my name is Emmy in a bottle. I do art and play a lot of games. Mostly visual novels. I play visual novels a lot more than any other genre of game. I find them so fascinating. They're not only a form of creative writing, but also a crazy cool and creative way of producing a story where most of the time, choices matter. Now, before I continue, major spoilers ahead. I know you've already been warned, but seriously, if at any point before this or after this you think you might want to play this or have any interest at all, stop watching. Go play Kill Ralph. Do yourself a favor. Do not spoil it any more than you already have. I really want to spend some time going over some of my favorite characters and their personalities, along with one larger segment on my favorite character interaction. So, here we go. Kill Ralph, a visual novel about killing a man named Ralph, stars a whole bunch of thoughtful characters with very distinct personalities. Some of my favorites were the Knight in Yellow, Hamburger, and the man himself, Ralph. Starting with Ralph, I won't spend too much time on him, but just know that he is one of my favorite characters for a reason, and that the main character, Hamburger, is probably the best personality matchup for Ralph in terms of a temporary rival and a partner in crime. BT dubs, Ralph has a creepy as fuck personality. Playing the game, even before interacting with Ralph, I was freaked out. He makes an incredible villain with absolutely zero redeeming qualities, which is my favorite way for someone to write a villain. Incredible job, 10 out of 10. Next, Hamburger. I just wanted to give high compliments for the flexible yet distinguished personality of Hamburger. I was pleasantly surprised to see the player be put into the shoes of a man who is cocky, cunning, definitely a man, and has a conscience, but somehow still ends up as utterly incompetent. Hamburger is easily manipulated, and frankly, follows his nether region and not his heart. A shockingly different personality from Ralph. I think that's why Hamburger is such a perfect matchup for Ralph though. Hamburger has redeeming qualities, even if not all of them are noble or good, which is aggressively opposite of Ralph. And you know what they say, opposites attract. 9.9 out of 10, needs more burger. Lastly, the Knight in Yellow. I would like to express my absolute joy upon realizing that the Knight in Yellow was a character we could get. Well, okay, I was seriously skeptical at first. I kept saying, there's no way, and maybe there's a secret character. But no, I'm glad I was wrong. The Knight in Yellow speaks in riddles, metaphors, and idioms, with a language comparable to Shakespeare. And I love Shakespeare. I could honestly listen to so much Hamlet and never get sick of it. Most of the characters have achievements attached to them, but the Knight in Yellow's achievement was probably my favorite to get. It was frustrating, tricky, easy to screw up, and ultimately so much fun. I won't be talking about that achievement specifically, but rather the interaction with the Knight in Yellow. To get the Knight, you know what, I'm just gonna call him Yellow. To get Yellow on your team, you have to outsmart him in a game of riddles, which Ralph straight up tells you that you can try, but somehow we missed it for like 3 hours. The riddles were the most intriguing dialogue in the game to me. They were out of place, but also very much well within the atmosphere of the game. Very well done to the devs for that. Here are the first 3 riddles.
Pure guiltless flesh in flames I lay, an act divine on darkest day. In Christ of kin I pay the price. How knowest thou if I suffice? Come night, all hearts to me lie bare, and I leave not but terror there. I come to you as pitch black steed, reminding you of past misdeeds. What can change the nature of a man?
The riddles dragged me into a strange spiral of crisis, but I think riddles just do that to me normally. However, these riddles were so well done. Some only had one answer, while others had multiple. It was tricky and fun. I loved the interaction with Yellow, but it also bogged my mind with so many unanswered questions. Some that the achievement does answer. However, there are still so many on my mind. The biggest one being, why does Yellow speak that way? In riddles, metaphors, and idioms. Is he cursed? Did he make a pact with a god? Or is he just really old? These were all left unanswered by the game, and honestly, I think I prefer it that way. With death pretty much being the final answer of the whole game, we will never know. The only way I could accurately describe my thoughts and feelings when playing through this game is dread, and the horrifying realization that there are no heroes and happy endings. Once I realized that there would be no happy endings, I was almost desperate to find one. I grasped at thin threads, both out loud and in my head, trying to sleuth out the true and happy ending, when really, there was never one to begin with. Either Ralph won or no one did. I loved this game way more than I thought I would. I also got way into it after the first ending that Fax and I got. The way I felt experiencing this game was comparable to the first time I played Hot to Full Boyfriend. If you know, you know. And wow, just wow. The writing of this game was fantastic and pulled at several emotional strings of my heart and logical brain. It left me racking my mind and resources for answers I would never find and left me feeling very oddly at peace. Kill Ralph is an S-tier experience and replayable for up to 14 times. More if you're cool. Finally, a huge thank you to Fax for allowing me to have a segment in his video and for letting me join him in experiencing Kill Ralph in its entirety. Thanks so much, bestie. Final score, 99 out of 100. Not enough hamburger. Well done.
And there you have it. Thank you so much for joining me to record this video and also to play this game with me. I had such a great time.
Thanks for having me, bestie. It was so much fun, and anytime.
If this is something we'll do again like this, like a video, that's still to be seen. But I had a great time with this, and I really wanted to talk about this game.
I had a really, really, really great time too. Best memories of 2025 at 3 a.m. definitely.
Yeah, I would have to agree. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope that at this point we've managed to convince you to play Kill Ralph because we both believe that it deserves a lot more attention. If you are interested, then go play the game. Go tell your friends about it, play it with your friends, spread the word, and share this video maybe if you feel like it. I'd honestly really appreciate it if you did. But if you are somehow still on the fence and or want to get spoiled some more, then I've got one more section for you. This is your last chance to go play the game yourself without knowing too much about it. I'm now going to talk about specific story beats as well as some endings to paint a small picture of what exactly awaits you in this game. Major spoiler and extreme violence and gore warning ahead. This story is not a happy one. Tragedy follows you everywhere, and death is inevitable. Kill Ralph has 14 different endings tied to achievements, each of them more tragic than the one that came before. Right now, I'm going to be walking you through a few of them. The simplest ones, I believe. The endings I will be talking about are Determination, The Art of the Deal, Two Birds, One Stone, Patience, and Blade Master. Let's start with Determination. This is the easiest ending to get in the game. Starting outside, we learn about the general setting of the game. A dark medieval fantasy town, a bounty hunter planning his attack on the most valuable target currently known, and a tavern full of happy drunks enjoying a party. After you walk into the tavern and Fleur greets you with a mug full of wine, you just have to decline. Insist that you do not want to drink any alcohol and you'd rather be thrown out, and she will do just that. You once again find yourself outside the tavern. Unable to kill Ralph tonight, you have failed your mission. The narrator starts talking about what's going on with some added meta commentary about the character not having been the one to make this choice. They've just been dealing with this weird voice that has possessed them and keeps making choices for them. It's us. The narrator is referencing our existence as the player. And that is where things end here. Believe it or not, this might actually be the best ending you can get in the game. It's certainly the best one we'll be talking about in this video. The next two endings we'll be talking about are the only two endings that were available in the demo for this game, The Art of the Deal and Two Birds, One Stone. Up first, The Art of the Deal. Who cares about anyone else? You're here to kill Ralph, so why not just go straight for him? You head up to the second floor and start talking to Ralph. Introductions are meaningless. He doesn't need to know who you are. You're about to kill him anyway. You call yourself a positively desperate cutthroat, a wingless angel of the odd, a servant of primordial forces, or whatever else you feel like, but Ralph can't help but be amused. You could talk to him, but what's the point, really? All you need to do is draw your sword, so you threaten to kill him. He doesn't seem fazed, in fact he's calm. Calm enough to ask for a refill of his beverage, but before Fleur can finish, Ralph grabs her by the neck and threatens to kill her if you try to make another move. He monologues for a good while before you're finally presented with a choice. Drop your sword or kill them both. For this ending, the good in you takes hold and you drop your sword to save Fleur. Ralph lets go, as promised, and she runs into your arms, tears in her eyes, except Ralph stabs you both. A sword pierces her heart and yours. You have lost your life and gotten an innocent person killed, yet Ralph still lives. You have failed your mission. For two birds, one stone, we make the exact same choices. We're just trying to kill Ralph until we get to that final choice from before, only this time, knowing that Fleur will die either way, we make the call to kill them both. Our sword pierces her heart as well as Ralph's. Ralph is in shock. He did not expect this from us, but he's a lot sturdier than Fleur. He's not done yet. With his last bit of strength, he manages to get revenge and stabs you all the same. In this ending, all three of you are bleeding out on the floor. You have died. You have murdered an innocent person, but at least Ralph DeVore has been slain. You've accomplished your mission, all while keeping casualties to a minimum. Right? Patience. It's time to stop rushing things. Take a step back, sit down, relax. I'm sure everything will make sense if you just take some time to think. You sit and wait.
One of the guests, influenced by alcohol, begins to dance an indecent dance, naturally catching your eye.
And wait.
A man in a yellow jacket with a candle in his hands gets so excited while talking that he accidentally sets the hair of a woman next to him on fire.
And wait.
The guest raises a toast to the birthday man. "To Ralph," he proclaims.
But something is wrong. A plague befalls the tavern. People are dying left and right, vomiting blood, convulsing violently. It's horrible. Except Ralph walks down the stairs. He's fine. He's unfazed. No, he's enjoying the scene, celebrating the event. He planned all of this. He poisoned the wine, and then it's your turn. You've waited too long. In your final moments, you see the man you've sworn to kill stand triumphantly over dozens of dead bodies. You have once again failed your mission, and you are now burdened with the knowledge of what happens in this tavern every night, regardless of your actions. What could you possibly do? Blade Master. You need allies. Apart from drunks, this tavern currently also contains a warrior who fell from grace, a woman wearing a military uniform, and a mysterious knight in yellow. Surely, if you could just get these three to join your side, you could at least kill Ralph by keeping Fleur safe. Those who did not drink do not need to die. So you approach the warrior, Kristoff. You approach the military woman, Sophie. And you approach the yellow knight without a name, and you try everything in your power to get them to join you. You lie through your teeth if you have to. The Yellow Knight is unwilling to help. To him, the end is nigh and there is nothing to be done. But you do manage to convince Kristoff and Sophie that Ralph DeVore needs to die tonight and that on your signal, the three of you will take him out once and for all. You make your way to Ralph and let him know that his days are numbered, and this time, Fleur gets away. Thank God. But the horrors still unfold. You give the signal and...
Return to where you belong. Back in the swamp. Butcher!
It's not enough. Ralph is a skilled combatant and he makes short work out of Kristoff and Sophie. You try to get one last shot in, but you're too weak. Ralph DeVore kills you once again. 2 allies were not enough. Your mission has failed once again. What does it take to kill Ralph?